Start your day by waking up with natural sunlight. Time for some Netflix. Set my projector scene. Keep your home cool in the summer by blocking out the sunlight. SmartWings Blinds with thread technology is finally here. I've been waiting since last year when I reviewed SmartWings Blinds. Thread was said to be coming soon, but at that time, the shades I tested were Bluetooth. They worked surprisingly well for what I consider to be outdated smart home technology, but I have to tell you, these thread-enabled blinds are even better. Compared to many other HomeKit window shades available today, SmartWings is comparatively less expensive, making them more accessible. If you can, you've got to experience life with thread-enabled smart shades. I was fortunate to get early access to these blinds, and I've been testing them out since mid-January. Today, I'm gonna go over all the features and tell you what I like and what to watch out for to help you make an informed decision. Smart blinds are one of life's simple pleasures. I feel like once you switch to smart shades, you won't want to go back. Create simple automations to open your blinds in the morning and then close them at night, and customize this to account for your schedule. I like mine to open up earlier on the weekdays and then a little bit later on weekends. Since these work in Apple Home, you'll be able to create scenes like the ones I demonstrated at the start of the video. Use a temperature sensor to shut the blinds for extra insulation on cold winter nights, or keep your home cool to reduce air conditioning costs by closing the blinds on hot summer days. I recommend the optional remote that SmartWings offers since it will work even if you happen to have issues with the connection in HomeKit, and it allows you to adjust the top and bottom position of your blinds. Choose between the 5-channel or the 15-channel version, meaning you could control up to 15 shades with just one remote. They cost $15 and $25 respectively. Definitely a worthwhile addition. In addition to the remote, you can also use buttons. I assigned some controls to my Philips Hue dimmer switches for these shades, though any HomeKit button would work, and there's a lot to choose from. I also like to use a holiday button that will disable my blinds from opening automatically in the morning for non-weekend days and holidays where we want to wake up on our own schedule and maybe even sleep in. Here in Canada, Victoria Day's coming up, so it's the perfect time to bypass this automation so it doesn't get triggered so early. Before I go to bed, I just press this button, which turns on a powered but unused smart plug. I used HomePlus 6 to add a condition to the automation that opens my blinds at 7 a.m. between Monday and Friday, which specifies only when the holiday smart plug is turned off. So I can press the button, it turns on my holiday plug, and my blinds won't open automatically the next morning because of this. I then have an automation that runs at 8 a.m. to turn the smart plug off, so it's ready to be used the next day. If you use Homebridge, then you can also use the dummy plugin instead of using a smart plug. Virtual smart plugs and conditional automations are a great way of getting around the limitations of the Home app. I'll link a video in the description that I did last year if you want to learn more. SmartWings offers worldwide shipping for their blinds regardless of order size, and the ordering is done directly through the SmartWings website. You can shop by the type of shades, and as you can see, there's a pretty good list of options, including the popular Roller Shades, Zebra Blinds, and Cellular Shades. They also have motorized drapery and outdoor shades. When you find the style you're looking for, then you just fill in some basic information, like choosing the color, the mount type, and size. SmartWings includes a how to measure guide that I recommend reviewing before entering your measurements. The original blinds I ordered last year I had measured incorrectly, and I had to have them remade. A quick tip is to make sure that you measure towards the front and back of the frame to make sure that it's not more narrow at the back. It's pretty common that windows are not completely squared up and even. You also need to specify your motor type, and there's several options, but I highly recommend the Thread Smart Motor, which is the purpose of this video review, and I'll talk more about performance shortly. They do offer HomeKit blinds that still have the Bluetooth motor, and while these have worked surprisingly well for an older technology, it's worth the upgrade to Thread. It's an extra $40, which I know can add up if you're purchasing a lot of blinds, but it's worth it in my opinion for a future-proof option that should work well for years to come. There are also options to choose from like the valance and bottom bar, rule type, and motor side, so lots of options to find exactly what you're looking for. Here you can also decide if you want to add that remote control or even a solar panel so you never have to worry about charging. I went with white Blackout roller shades last year with my Bluetooth shades. They're very basic, but bright white looks crisp and Blackout is perfect for a bedroom. I used to have standard Cellular Shades, which were also white, and both my wife and I loved them, but it was just so much work to have to open and close them every morning. I mean, first world problems. Having HomeKit blinds in our bedroom was a dramatic change for the better. If the cellular options would have been available to us at the time, that's the style we would have gone with. So when SmartWings asked if I wanted to try their new blinds with a thread motor, and I saw that there were cellular shades available, I was like, yes, totally doing this. This time, it was the kids' turn to add some cool tech to their bedrooms. My daughter was like us and went with the standard white, probably a good idea for purple walls, but my son was a little more adventurous and chose a more bold blue color. SmartWings has fabric samples available, which is a great idea. It's hard to tell the exact shade from a phone or a computer screen. But even after deciding on the color based on the swatch, I wasn't sure how the blue would turn out. In the end, I love it and my son does too. Since these are north-facing windows, blackout wasn't as much of a concern for our kids' bedrooms. Not to mention, it's pretty hard to wake these kids up, so a little sunlight, no big deal. Since my daughter went with white, hers had a blackout option, though the blue my son wanted only came with light filtering. As you can see though, it does a pretty good job keeping the room dark. While we're on the subject of blackout, I want to mention that you can add optional side tracks. They're not expensive and they help to block out some of the sunlight that comes in along the sides of the shades. It's definitely not as blackout as the photo on the website. It's made of vinyl, and as you can see, there's some sunlight that comes through the panels, and it does leave a small gap at the top and bottom, but overall, it makes a significant difference, and it's not an expensive upgrade. I added side panels after my last video because on bright sunny mornings, it was just letting too much light come through. It comes with the magnetic strips as an installation option. The panels stick to this so they can be easily removed. At first, I wasn't sure why I needed this, then I learned. The panels weren't too secure at first and they came loose after not very long, so I added a couple of screws to hold them in place. Again, since the kids don't have the sun blasting in their window in the morning, I wasn't concerned about their rooms being too bright. I chose not to add side panels to their windows, and it's been fine. These blinds are so easy to install and they pop on and off easily. Add them to Apple Home by scanning the QR code along the bottom of the blind. Now, I do wish SmartWings could improve this design to better hide that code. There's also no pull-on for these blinds, which provides a cleaner look, but it also makes manual controls a little more difficult, especially with these cellular blinds. It'd be nice if there was an option to just manually lift the blinds up. There is a button on the roller shades, but depending on how high up your window is, or how tall you are, it could be a challenge. Since most of the time you'll be controlling these through either your automation schedule, Siri, a button, or within a HomeKit scene, there's a lot of ways to adjust your blinds. My blinds from last year have the optional solar panel, which is great because I don't ever have to worry about charging them. Though during the day when it's sunny outside, I did realize that I can sometimes hear them charging. Depending on where you install these, just be aware of this small inconvenience. It's not loud, but you will hear it in a quiet room, almost like a small buzz or hum. The other main consideration for me is hiding the solar panels. You'll want to consider how your shades look from not only the inside, but also the outside. My bedroom windows are street facing, but they're also pretty high up, so it's not overly noticeable. I have a transom, so I just set the top of my blinds to only go as high as the transom in order to hide the solar panels. Since the kids have regular full pane windows in their rooms, I decided not to add the solar panel. This way they can be opened all the way and still look great. These blinds also don't use a lot of power. I installed these in mid-January, so about 4 months ago. They get used at least daily, and they're still at 77%. Charging the roller shades isn't too challenging, but with these cellular shades, the USB-C input's at the back on the top, so it's a little bit hard to reach, so it's probably easier to just take them down and charge them once or twice a year. If, however, this is a window that's out of reach, then I would just opt for the solar panel. Okay, let's talk thread. HomeKit products have been using thread now for over 2 years, and it's rapidly increasing in popularity. Thread is faster than Bluetooth, it has better range, and it should be more reliable. Like Bluetooth, it's low energy and it doesn't require a manufacturer hub, only a thread border router like the latest HomePod, a HomePod Mini, or an Apple TV. Thread is also one of the technologies compatible with Matter, the smart home standard that we're finally starting to see. Instead of works with HomeKit, when you see this, you know it will work with any Matter compatible ecosystem, such as Google Home, Amazon Alexa, and Apple Home. These are not Matter certified right now, though SmartWings says that they're actively testing this and hoping for official certification by the end of the year. It's nice to see that SmartWings is focused on Matter, but since they're Thread and they work with Apple Home, it's not something that I think that you should be overly concerned with. The biggest difference I noticed with these new blinds is speed, which isn't surprising. My Bluetooth ones were definitely a little slower to respond. Often I would hear Siri tell me,
"Your shades are taking a while to respond."
Then my blinds would just open. Put my blinds halfway. Close my blinds. Close my blinds.
One sec.
There's no app to control these blinds, it's all done through Apple Home or using the remote control if you purchase that as well. Lastly, let's talk about performance, and here I simply mean, how well do they work? Well, they've been pretty good, but they haven't been perfect to be honest. When they are working, they're great, but since installing these, I've had 2 instances where the blinds have completely stopped responding, including my original Bluetooth blinds. I could still control them with the remote, but not within Apple Home. The only fix was to remove them from HomeKit, factory reset, which for the cellular blinds means taking the blinds down and hitting that reset button, and then adding them back to Apple Home and re-adding my scenes, automations, and button controls. It's really a pain to have to do that. I did contact SmartWings about this, and they said that they were aware of the issue, and they assured me that it should be fixed with iOS 16.4.1. Since updating my phone, I haven't had any issues, though it's only been a few weeks that 16.4.1's been available, so it's something that I'm going to be monitoring. These blinds also do make some noise. Not terrible, but you'll hear them. SmartWings is just one option for us Apple Home users on a quest to make all of our window coverings smart. They look fantastic and they work well aside from a few hiccups that I described earlier. While their materials and reliability may not quite match brands like Eve Motion Blinds or Lutron Serena, they do provide a far more affordable option for many, especially since people often want to upgrade a series of shades, not just a single window. To be clear, SmartWings is still going to be a bit of an investment compared to regular shades. Quality window coverings are expensive. The cost of that thread motor alone is pretty pricey, but go do a comparison between Lutron or Eve Motion Blinds and you'll see what I mean. There are some retrofit options out there as well to make your existing tilt or roller shades smart, so something to consider if you already have blinds that you really like and you're just trying to make them HomeKit compatible. Though if new shades is what you're after, then SmartWings is a brand that I can recommend. Let me know your thoughts and what are some creative ideas that you use with smart blinds. That's it for this week. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.